I'm Sam Whedon.
And I'm Nick Fulton. Here's the news. Many years ago, a tragic event occurred at the parade in Dallas, Texas. Our beloved President John F. Kennedy was assassinated.
Tragic.
Very tragic.
Very
Yes.
tragic.
Oh my. And this event had a huge impact on the lives of the American people. November 22nd, 1963 will forever be a day that is lived in infamy. JFK will always be remembered. Today, we are going to discuss how his death had occurred and killing of Lee Harvey Oswald by Jack Ruby. New information and never-before-heard details of his startling confession raised new questions on just who was behind the assassination of JFK. I had the little bastard killed. He was a thorn in my shoe, according to a secret FBI informant. These were the words of his cellmate, Carlos Marcellos, the notorious New Orleans mafia boss, one of America's most powerful mafia godfathers, confessing in his role in orchestrating the Kennedy assassination. Marcello, who controlled mob operations in Louisiana, Texas, and other places, have long been suspected in a hand in the Kennedy assassination. Almost half a century after the assassination, the new informants have come forward to provide an exclusive interview that may solve one of the nation's most enduring mysteries and rewrite history. This interview links Marcello with both Oswald and Ruby, as Marcello reveals that he brought Lee Harvey Oswald into the plot, telling the informant that he was my man. He did what I told him to do. Marcello admits that he also talked with the Dallas strip club owner, Jack Ruby, who was deeply in debt and owed him big.
Let me tell you a little something else, Nick.
Oh, please do.
I heard the CIA had contacts with organized crime families to kill the Cuban president Fidel Castro. John F. Kennedy himself was involved in these plans. The mob had huge plans in order to overthrow Fidel Castro. In Cuba, the mafia was heavily invested in casinos and other lucrative investments before Castro began the communist revolution. However, when Kennedy launched the Bay of Pigs invasion in Cuba in an attempt to end Castro's plans, he failed in doing so.
Oh, my.
This ended any hopes of American organized crime returning to Cuba, and this enraged the mafia. Dozens of Marcello's associates were infiltrated in this plan. It is believed that Marcello's original goal to murder Castro was carried over to kill President John F. Kennedy. Marcello, along with the CIA, had plans to shoot Fidel Castro in an open jeep. They used the same idea in killing Kennedy in an open car in Dallas. Although Marcello did not shoot JFK, as mentioned earlier, he had many ties with Oswald. There were also other members in the mafia who also had suspicious connections with John F. Kennedy. Sam Giancana, former head of Chicago Crime Syndicate, had a number of Venn diagram intersections with JFK. Giancana had long-time ties to the Kennedy clan, going back to JFK's father, Joseph P. Kennedy, who was involved in the bootlegging business. Giancana was also associated with Frank Sinatra, who was a close friend of Kennedy, and was allegedly a donor to JFK's 1960 presidential campaign. This was unnatural at the time. Because politicians weren't required to disclose their deep-pocket contributors, Giancana also secretly helped Kennedy win the 1960 West Virginia primary. He allegedly asked Giancana to use mob muscle to pressure local union members to vote JFK. Take it away from here, Nick. Tell us more.
Oh, well, Seymour Hersh alleged that the elder Kennedy eventually did meet with Giancana in Chicago to solicit his support for JFK in the general election. And then during the Kennedy administration, the Chicago mobster, along with other crime figures, are known to have been enlisted by the CIA to plot the killing of the Cuban leader, Fidel Castro. Giancana and Kennedy also shared a mistress, Judith Eskner.
Ooh.
Right?
Juicy.
Right? She arranged meetings between Kennedy and Giancana further helped him with the election. During the Castro incident, Giancana was also involved in helping Kennedy in plotting to kill Fidel Castro. When Kennedy failed in these attempts, it ultimately led to Giancana, along with Marcello's group, forming plans to kill Kennedy. These suspicions and links between JFK and mobsters fuel conspiracy theories that the mob may somehow have been involved in JFK's death. Da da da! Thank you for listening for our latest update, and here is a very special treat I'm sure you all will appreciate. DJ Swag.
What up, it's DJ Swag. It's what the community calls me. JFK was murdered by the mob. It's such a sad story. He was killed on the job. There's so many different conspiracies about it. Listen to me tell you, this class is about to get lit. There are many people in America that loved him, but then he got the madman and his future looked dim. Now let me tell you about President Castro, communist leader. The Cubans wanted him to go. They had a good plan called Bay of the Pigs. This plan involved some really good tricks. The Cubans were finally going to take down Castro, but JFK stopped the plan and he said no. Because of him, the Cubans got mad. Let me tell you, that was not rad. In Cuba, JFK destroyed organized crime, which is totally not fine. He got rid of revolutions in the mafia formed and took JFK down. He was shot and dressed in his funeral gown. Main attraction has got it right. If you don't agree, we will fight. JFK would agree with our theory because he was there and not very cheery.
Fucking, I kept messing up.